Good morning, writers. Jill here. It's a cold, dreary morning where I live, but I wanted to record a quick video to tell you how excited I am that it is a week and a day until I reveal the cover for Hunger, Book 2 in the Thirst duology. And I also wanted to talk to you about first drafts versus editing. I am neck deep in final revisions of Hunger. And it's taken a while to get here, especially considering I wrote this draft, the beginning version of this draft, years ago in that kind of gigantic thing I did on my blog. And then I decided to separate it into two books, and I did Thirst in the fall of 2019, and now I'm doing Hunger. And Hunger only started with 32,000 words or so, and it's grown to much more than that. I'm over 100,000, so this is going to be a thicker book. I did add a second point of view, so I have Eli and Hannah's points of view, and when you add a second full character's story arc to a book, it grows it. So yeah, it's long. Anyways, so I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite part of writing a novel? Is it the first draft or is it the editing? I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of hate first drafts. Now, that's not totally true. I get really excited about starting. Like, I love the brainstorming idea part of the process, especially like why I call myself a story world first author. I'm all about brainstorming that world that the characters live in, whether it's fantasy or, contemporary. I want to know all about that place that they live, the life they've lived, the backstory they've lived, who the people are in their lives, what their world is like. I love that part. I will do that part for hours, days, months, years. Yeah, I can be easily come down with a case of story world builder's disease. So I love that part. Love that part. And I get really excited about sitting down to start drafting. And I probably usually make it about 3 or 4 chapters, maybe sometimes even 5 chapters until I'm like, ugh. And I just want it to be over. I want that first draft because I have learned over writing 24, 25, 26, I don't even know how many books I have, but the 24 in print anyway, that it is not, that first draft has to be done. It's essential to complete it because I won't know until it's done what I have to fix. So sometimes writing that first draft feels like this frustrating thing because I know, gosh, I'll probably delete this chapter. And there's this part of me that's like, oh, I wish I knew. I wish I could see the future and know what was going to happen. But I need that journey. I need that process of writing that first draft because doing so gives me the opportunity to better get to know my characters and my world. So I can sit there before I start writing and brainstorm, like I said, for years until I'm in the hospital with story world builder's disease and really not know for sure what that book's going to end up like because I'm just daydreaming. I'm just pretending. I'm not actually doing the hard work yet. So that first draft for me is the hard work. It is butt in the chair, words on the page until I'm done. And it is really hard for me. Once I get that done, there's an ending and it makes sense. And sometimes I have to stop and fix things because I'm like, this is leading me to trouble and I have to fix things, which also frustrates me because I just want to get to the end so that I can be closer to what is for me the fun part. So, but I will eventually get to the end. And so I did get to the end on Hunger, and now I am in the revision stage, and that is my favorite part. I love the edits and revisions. It's my favorite. I love making that list as I go through that ugly draft and I say, oh gosh, look at all these things I left out. And I make a long list. Then I get to go back through and make everything pretty and make the characters talk the way I want them to and make sure that that people can see them and hear them and that they're unique and that they stand out, and adding the story world elements and adding the magic and having that continuity. I love that part. That is my favorite. And it always makes me think of my favorite Michael Crichton quote, which I will butcher off the top of my head, but it's the quote that says, books aren't written, they're rewritten, even when the 7th draft hasn't got it right, something like that. And that has always been true for me. The more passes I can take through a manuscript, the better it's going to be. The more engrossing it's going to be, the more real those characters are going to be, because I spend more time perfecting every little part. And with a 100,000 word manuscript, 400 pages, that's a lot of work, because, you know, you could spend a week on chapter 1. And so I'm going to do the best I can before this book comes out in April to go through it and make it the best it can be. But this is the fun part for me. So I'm enjoying the revision stage, taking these passes through and checking for different character motivations and making sure everything, the continuity is working and all of that. So that is my favorite part of the writing process. So I'm curious, how is it for you? Are you a first draft person, or are you an editing person? Some people love writing that first draft. They have so much fun with it, and then they don't ever want to look at it again. I've always been the opposite. I love making it pretty. I hate the first draft. So I want to know what kind of writer you are, what you love, and what you don't love as much. So share in the comments and let me know. Are you a first draft person or an editing person? Let me know.